The Indian government is set to announce its 2024 Union Budget on July 23rd, and more than 93.7 million taxpayers in the country have tied their hopes to it, hoping for some sort of tax relief or incentive. This budget is unique in more ways than one. While India usually presents its annual budget on February 1st, this year it was a bit different. The Narendra Modi government presented an interim budget in February this year that allocated money only for the first quarter of FY 2024-2025. This was because India was scheduled to hold a general election from April 19th to June 1st. Now that the polls are over and Prime Minister Modi-led National Democratic Alliance has formed a government for the record third time, the full-year budget for 2024-2025 will be presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. This would be the seventh time Sitharaman would be presenting India's annual financial statement. While there are numerous expectations from the budget, the most anticipated part of the budget is income tax. In the interim budget, the Finance Minister maintained status quo. Sitharaman argued that the interim budget isn't the time for revision of tax slabs. So this time around, taxpayers are banking on some changes. Speculations, demands and expectations on income tax from Budget 2024 are high. But before we take a look at what Indian taxpayers want, let's first understand how they are taxed. Currently, India operates under two income tax regimes. One offers exemptions and deductions at higher tax rates, while the other has lower rates but fewer exemptions and deductions. The new tax regime introduced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in 2020 aimed to give taxpayers more financial choice. Unlike the old scheme that incentivized savings through tax cuts, the new regime simplified taxes by lowering rates without offering deductions. The scheme underwent further revisions in the 2023 budget. As of now, an Indian has the option to choose between the two regimes. However, in cases where taxpayers don't make a choice, the new tax regime becomes applicable. Under the old tax regime, individuals with annual incomes up to 5 lakh rupees are exempt from paying taxes. Those earning above this are taxed according to this rate structure, with rates starting from 5% and going up to 30%. To reduce taxable income, individuals can opt for various exemptions and deductions. These deductions are offered to encourage people to save more for things like insurance, pension contributions and housing mortgages, among others. With these deductions, individuals can earn up to 10 lakh rupees without any tax liability. However, these deductions are not available under the new tax regime. Here, individuals earning up to 7 lakh rupees annually are exempt from paying taxes. Income above this threshold is taxed under 5 slabs, with rates starting at 5%. Interestingly, both tax regimes share a common feature, a standard deduction of 50,000 rupees. This is an exemption for a taxpayer who does not require any investment proof. It was first introduced in 2018 and later increased to 50,000 rupees in 2019. It has remained unchanged since. There has been a long-standing demand to increase this deduction in line with inflation. Some experts believe that the government may raise the standard deduction to 1 lakh rupees. Such a hike would provide significant tax relief, particularly benefiting fixed-income groups like pensioners. A higher standard deduction would effectively increase disposable income, especially for lower and middle-income earners. While increasing the standard deduction is one way to boost disposable income, another approach is to raise the basic income tax exemption limit. It's the threshold below which no income tax is levied on an individual's earnings. It determines the starting point at which income tax becomes applicable. Look at these two tables. As of now, the basic income tax exemption limit stands at 3 lakh rupees. Indian citizens earning up to 3 lakh rupees annually do not have to pay any tax. According to reports, the Modi government may increase this limit to 5 lakh rupees. While this change may not mean much for people earning below 7.5 lakh rupees, those earning more than this can expect a lower tax liability. Reports say if the government goes ahead with this move, taxes could be reduced by up to 10,400 rupees.
Currently, the basic exemption limit is of rupees 3 lakhs in the new tax regime, and many employees still prefer the old tax regime for the benefits like HRA and deductions under section 80C. If the government raises this limit to 5 lakhs across both regimes, it would mean that individuals earning up to 5 lakhs annually would not have to pay any income tax. So this move would put more disposable income in the hands of a taxpayer, allowing them to save more and spend on the essential needs, which can overall boost the economy.
One of the other most anticipated changes from Budget 2024 is for the capital gains tax. It is levied on the profit earned when an individual sells an asset like gold, real estate, stocks or mutual funds.
So capital gain is a tax that the individual taxpayer or any taxpayer makes on selling a particular capital asset. Now in layman's term, in case the taxpayer buys an asset at a cost and sells it at a higher price, the difference between the selling price and the cost price is capital gain. Now this capital gain can be short-term or long-term depending upon the period of holding of the capital asset. And long-term and short-term is defined for each class of asset. It could be either 12 months or 2 years or even 3 years.
Let's understand this with an example. Currently, if an Indian sells gold within 3 years of buying it, any profit is added to their income and taxed according to their income tax slab. However, if they hold on to the gold for more than 3 years, the profit is taxed at a rate of 20%. While this applies to gold, the tax rate and treatment of capital gains vary based on factors like the type of asset and the holding period. This variation has caused confusion among investors.
The rate of tax at which the different capital assets get taxed is very complex and confusing for a normal taxpayer. In the same example, the listed equity share, long-term listed equity share gets taxed at 10% subject to certain deductions, whereas unlisted equity share gets taxed at 20% if it is a long-term capital asset. So there is definitely a need for overhauling the capital gain tax structure to make it more simple and for the taxpayer to comply with the regulations.
These are just a few of the basic and widely discussed expectations that the Indian middle class has for Budget 2024. As the last budget maintained the status quo, taxpayers are eagerly waiting for the Modi 3.0 government's first budget. Their wish list is long and extensive. Experts argue that in a country like India, where economic growth has surpassed expectations last year, new tax breaks could work as a catalyst for similar growth for every Indian. This could potentially increase disposable income, helping the middle class achieve their aspirations and effectively managing their budgets. However, whether these demands or wishes will actually come true, for that we will have to wait for July 23rd.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished. On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies.